All right. And we have a chat option. Perfect. Hello, Miss Lisa. I believe you had a fantastic observation in your class with both the children and the observer enjoying it.
Yes.
Wonderful. So all of you can write on the chat box for sure, all through. Don't wait for our session to end, because this is just a chatting interactive session. I've just put it on a recording so that you can view it later. And if anybody is missing out, you can see if the new person is joining. Any of you homeroom teachers can walk her through exit tickets. As I understood from Candy that some of you are wondering when to use exit tickets, how to use exit tickets, what are exit tickets, why should we even use exit tickets, what purpose do they serve. So exit ticket is a very standard method uh, of um, of checking out children learning and giving a feed forward to the teacher. It's like any formative assessment as well. So if you, so for example, in math, you say, write down one thing you learned about solving equation today, or solve the following math problem and explain steps, or on a scale of 1 to 5, how confident are you in using Pythagorean's theorem, something like that. So those all become kind of formative assessments. They kind of become exit tickets. In a language, you can say, what was the main dialogue topic in today's language practice? If you ask, it's a quick formative assessment at that point in time. Yes, Savita, you have a question. You have a question? You're on mute. You're still on mute. I can't hear you.
Unmute your device, Sabita ma'am.
That family in Hindi, grade 6, I completed that, and I did that. They will write what their family doing for her. 4 sentences.
Yeah.
Then Chitra Varnan, they learn that what steps they should remember.
Right.
That I did.
Yeah, that's a good quick formative assessment. So you know that how much they have learned today and how much, what you need to do, which child you need to do what. So it's a good feed forward for you to plan the next day's lesson. So I have some templates of exit tickets that I had shared with you sometime earlier. So I thought that today I will have a discussion with you on how possibly you can use each of these templates, and then you can modify it on your own. So for example, if you just have this exit ticket kind of this, like, what are you most confused about? Like you're confused about using exit tickets. So things like, what was the most important thing you learned in today's lesson, or what concept do you find the most confusing, or you rate your understanding of the material on a scale of 1 to 5, or write down one question that you still have about the topic. Any of these are like exit tickets. Let us see at the end of the session, how do we answer any of these questions. Let's go over a few of the exit tickets and see, and maybe a couple of them you can use as your own assignment to use it in your class and get back as how you used it and how did the children write about it. So for example, what 2 things stood out to you most from class today? It could be a reflection and synthesis kind of a mind process. It encourages students to think critically about whatever material was presented in the class and identify the most important concept or ideas. So they process the information and prioritize the key takeaways. You could use that. And what happens is you're engaging the student in, even if you're using it as a warm-up exercise, like what did you do yesterday? It can be an entry ticket and not necessarily an exit ticket. So you can use it as an entry ticket as well. So because when you're asking student about what stood out to them yesterday, you're actually assessing their level of engagement with the content. And if the students struggle to identify two meaningful things that stood out of your 45-minute session yesterday, then it indicates that they weren't fully engaged, or they weren't minding it, or they weren't thinking about it, or possibly it was not exciting enough for them to have a recall. It also personalizes the learning. They connect their own experience, thoughts, interests to the lesson, and it, you can choose something that resonated with you. For example, we were just discussing the lesson plan before this, and we said that, okay, we could do editing of a paragraph with punctuation, and Candy said, yeah, I was thinking of this, and then I was wondering how should I put it. So possibly that comment of editing a punctuations for a paragraph stood out to her in the mind out of all the comments that I had put it on her lesson plan. So that's like one thing that she could connect in her mind, that, oh, I was thinking about this and I was wondering, should I put it or not put it or whatever. But now she says it. So I think it might be a good idea, because she also thinks of it similarly. So it just connects your own thoughts with that. So it can, so that it also clarifies some misconceptions, like Satrupa asked that, oh, I have put objectives and I put outcomes, and then we clarified that, oh, objectives are topics. So should I just write the name of the topics there? So that is something that stood out for her from the comments that I had made, that, oh, I need to make a distinction between objective and outcome, because objectives will be the topics that I'm teaching, and outcome is what they can do. So what I can test them on that topic. So she mentioned a few questions that she can test them. Like I will give them so I asked, what will you give them a test on fractions? So she said, put that number line and ask them to put the fractions on it. I said, so that is the outcome, that the children should be able to put the fractions on a number line. That's where, or sort proper and improper fractions. So if that is the question you're giving the test on, that is your outcome, that the children, as a result of learning proper and improper fractions, they should be able to sort and differentiate between a proper and an improper fraction, because they will know the characteristics of what makes a fraction proper and what makes it improper. So that's your outcome. It's great for adapting your instruction, because if you notice common themes or patterns on what stood out to your students, then you know that, oh, like, for example, we were just discussing that hooks and provocations, we are always thinking about energizers or hooks and provocations. So it is, for me, it is standing out that I think we need to do a session like we're doing on exit tickets, a session on hooks and provocations, because it is standing out to me. It's giving me feed forward that if we all are on a common page on hooks and provocations, then all of us will know exactly and quickly what to put as a hook and a provocation that will make it more engaging for us to understand exactly what is a hook and what is a provocation. Is there a difference between a hook and a provocation? Is there a difference between what time should we insert it in? Which topics lend themselves to hooks and which topics lend themselves to provocations? Or we can use them interchangeably. Are both hooks and provocations warm-up exercises, or something can be a sum-up exercise as well? All those things, I think it gave me a feed forward that, okay, this is standing out from my session. So that was like my exit ticket. And I thought, oh, I can use that as a uh, as a session another time, whenever you guys have a time. A half an hour session would be good. It also, for young children, it expresses verbal and written expression because they can articulate exactly what stood out. Writing what is top of your mind helps you prioritize. And it's a life skill that is helpful for us to be able to summarize in future, because sometimes you think, oh, I'm confused about, and then you ask, what is it that you're confused about, or what stood out in this? Like, for example, you have interviewed a person, and what stood out about that person in the interview? If you're able to articulate that as 2 points or 3 points, it is very helpful. It's a very helpful life skill that you are teaching the children. Even when they go to 6th grade and they're struggling with some math portion, they can say that which 2 things stood out and they understood, and which 2 things confused them. So the teacher knows exactly where is the confusion, and the teacher doesn't say, oh my God, they didn't learn anything in the grade 5 and now that kind of a feedback, you can't do anything about it unless you tell specifically that I did not understand this and I understood this. So giving exit tickets is actually, I think, amounts to a lot of life skill exercises. Stop me anytime and give me an example of from your class. This is a simple one. What's a big win you had in the class or any other class in the week? Sometime when you see that the energy is a little down in your class, or if you're doing any complex concept, or there has been a lot of written work, or for whatever reason you feel that the energy is a little down, this prompt helps in boosting confidence and motivates them, because they can think of what they did or what they could do, what was an exciting thing. It's great for building a positive mindset or a well-being. This can be a good one in your staff meeting, because you can ask, what was the big win? That's a great exit ticket. I love doing that in my staff meeting, because then they will focus on what happened very well. You can use it in your family as well. I mean, just ask, what was a big win you had? Like in a weekend, you can sit and discuss, oh, what was a big win you had this week? Because we all have lots of little bit wins and losses during the week. But if you focus on the win, it leaves you with better motivation for the next week. And you share inspiration that, oh, this was my win. And you share that positivity with the other teachers. For the teacher-student relationship, acknowledging students' successes, it reinforces your relationship with them, and it shows that you care about their progress. It didn't matter what they couldn't do. For you, it mattered what they could do. Because you're anyway checking out what they couldn't do all through the week. You're always doing some assessments and checking out. But what they could do, if you're assessing that, it also is a very individualized feedback, and you take a tailored support, because you know about their learning style. Because a child would say, oh, my big win was going to field trip and meeting this person. So you know that this child likes that. Or my big win was when I did dumb charades with Miss Anne. Maybe that was a highlight of the child. You know that child enjoys interaction. Or the big win was when I made the project and presented it. Who knows what the big win was for the child? So you know what is their individual learning method or choice of learning. And of course, what I like is you can integrate it with subjects. It can be also, you know that the win was not in your class, but it was in Miss Oro's class possibly, and you can connect with Oro and say, oh, this is what the child enjoyed in your class, and I'm wondering how I can incorporate in my class, or this was a method, because it's not that he didn't like you and liked Miss Oro better, but he liked what Miss Oro did at that point in time, which he liked more. So it's easy for integration. If any of you have used any of these
Ma'am,
slips,
I just
do
had a
share.
question.
Yes.
Is we can illustrate also. They don't have to write, or they
Yes,
only
of
have to write.
course. Of course, the big win can be illustrated. The two things that stood
Can
out
illustrate.
can be illustrated.
So then, Dep also can do. That's what I'm saying.
Absolutely. You can illustrate it. You can add a color, and then they can say that why did they put that color? I felt yellow. Oops. What's something that someone said that really made you think, and what did it make you think? This is great for discussions. They engage deeper with the content, and you can give it as an assignment for doing at home. The exit tickets are great assignments, small assignments to do at home. And it's not necessary that you print them out. You can ask them to draw it in their notebook, like on 2 sheets of the notebook, left and right. They write what something someone said that really made you think, and what did it make you think. They can draw this on their notebook and take it as a homework and come bring it next day. Do you agree or disagree with the topic today? Was just Satrupa's unit has many of these topics that they can have. Persuasive communication. I agree, because the moment you say because, it becomes persuasive. I don't agree with this. I disagree with it because. So you are teaching them to do persuasive communication. I mean, this is all, and of course, they are more actively participating with each other. These are huge life skills that even the youngest of children will agree or disagree with something. And actually, they will have more agreement and disagreement with things. I think it was fair because, and I think it was unfair because. I mean, you can modify it to whatever extent you wish. If you had to describe what you learned today very simply to a young child, how would you describe it? Imagine asking it to a grade 3 child to explain it to Miss Michelle's children. That's the more you understand something, the more simply you can explain it to another child. It can be definitely done very well with languages, because you can do combined group.
We were thinking that, ma'am, grade 5 has learned force and motion and magnets, and we thought of they'll teach grade 3, since grade 3 has the similar topic now.
Right.
So
yeah,
that can be
totally
done.
do that. The more they can explain to the younger children, the older children should be able to explain to the younger children. It makes their thinking very clear. This one is something like you were telling. I love this one. Just choose a simple, engaging topic. Explain the prompt.
This is illustration itself.
It is illustration. Some of my teachers absolutely love this. And then they will cut them out and hang them like clothespin on a string. And it becomes such a nice display. You can finally create a classroom display showcasing the students' t-shirt designs. It's a great visual representation of their learning journey. And it can be inspiring other children as well. They can write a short sentence like, you know, how you write on a t-shirt. They can write a short sentence, they put a design, and each t-shirt will be different from the other. And yet it will be on the same concept. This is like recall everything. We are going to do a brain dump. Like, you know, if you say, oh, today we are going to do a brain dump. It's a whole week we have done. We are going to do a brain dump. So everything we will write, put. This you can do on the board, and they can write it. Everybody can come and write. Everybody needs to contribute, say 2 things or 3 things different from the other child. And it can be written on a big chart paper, or on the whiteboard. Like if you're doing a math, yeah, they can write down the formula, their problem-solving strategies, the concept that they learned, that it will help them consolidate. So that can be one single chart paper for the whole week, and that can go on display. And it's like a revision thing. It is not a mind map. It's just a simple brain dump. See, mind map will take time to make it. If you have 2 minutes, 3 minutes, all the 4, 5, 6 children can go to the chart paper and write, or they can write it on post-its, and you can tell everybody needs to contribute 2 post-its on the chart, and your revision is done. And it's a great exit ticket because you will know which child has done what. This is, I think even Michelle's children can do it. Ask children to jump, clap, hop based on how they feel about today's activities. Okay, they can use smiley faces. You can use simple questions. Did you have fun today? Did you learn something new? Yes, no. All that you can do. You can give 1 clap if you were a little happy. If you can give 2 clap if you're more happy. You can give 3 claps if you're very happy. I mean, you can improvise on these, how. So all age group children can do. I will take 2 more minutes and I'll finish this session because we are out of time. This is a good one. And I have seen even the youngest children being able to do it. How hard did you work today? It's a good one. I try this after teacher training sessions also, because they can reflect on their own. See, it's my job to train, but it's your job to learn. So you are putting the onus of learning on the child. How hard did I work today? So, and then describe why do you feel that way? It's just putting the onus back on the learner, because a teacher will teach. Someday she will be good, someday she will not be so good. But it is the learner's job to learn. It is your own requirement, your own responsibility to learn. Nobody else can take responsibility for a child's learning. The child has to take final responsibility for their learning, because they have to learn all their lives. It's not just grade 1 or 2. Forever we have to learn. Satruba was just telling, oh, it's just 1 month, but I've learned some, but I have to go on learning so much, which all of us have to. This one is my absolute top favorite. What could I do differently to help you learn? Like in math, what specific examples of practice problems would you like to see more of in future lessons? Is there a particular math concept that you find challenging? How can I assist you better with? You can give those prompts. Like language, do you prefer more group discussions or individual reading in your language class? Would you like additional writing prompts to practice your storytelling skills? Sciences, are there hands-on experiments or demonstrations you'd like to explore better to understand this principle? How can we integrate real-world applications of science into our lessons? These are things that you can put out these prompts and children will tell whether you should do more of this. For history, do you find visual aids like maps or timelines helpful in understanding historical events? Or would you like some more interactive activities to engage with History, you can put a topic there. Foreign languages. What type of language practice activities like dialogues or vocabulary games do you enjoy most? Savita can ask her Hindi students that do they like dialogue or vocabulary games? Are there any specific topics or scenarios you'd like to focus to improve your language skills? So you're again asking them that, how would you like me to help you to improve your skills? So the child is giving you feedback and you are putting the responsibility of learning on the child. Both ways, it works very well. So it's actually one of my favorite exit slips. Okay. I would like to ask you all this based on what you learned today. How does it change what you think? What will you do differently now? This is like one of the exit slips I can ask you to share. Any one or two of you would like to open your mic and share?
Ma'am, I think when we use exit ticket, they prioritize what they liked best and what didn't appeal to them at all. So what appealed to them most, they'll write that. And then that's also feedback for us. Maybe that kind of way of teaching could have been better for the whole session. Maybe it would have been a more successful class.
Yeah. So exit tickets are a great, you not only know what the child has learned or preferred, it's a feed forward for the teacher. Immediate feed forward for the teacher. You're not wondering, should I do this or should I do that? You are getting a direct feed forward from your own clients that this is what we like, miss, this is how you should do.
So we need to keep 5 minutes in our lesson plan to spare for the exit tickets.
Yes. It's a part of learning. So you are not, it is not an additional thing. You can give it in the sometimes you can give it in the beginning of your plan for the yesterday. Ideally, it should be really an exit ticket. That end of the lesson, you should get it.
So that planning of that's what I'm saying. The execution should be such that you have that 5 minutes for this.
Yes.
Otherwise,
Ma'am, they will tell that how much they learn means at the end from this topic, how much they learned, they understood or not.
Make new exit
the assessment, like their own assessment.
Yeah, make your own exit tickets and share with all of us. These are just some samples, templates I'm sharing with you. I mean, like in a story, suppose Savita has told a story, Hindi story. Now, if you give this exit ticket, how many names, write names of as many people you learned about today as you can.
All the character names.
All the characters you write. They have to remember and think about it, and they have to be able to write the names of the characters as well, right?
Like how I did in orally in the classroom of prep. I saw a story about a mother, a letter. Then I asked them that tell me how many words you learn from. They heard many words. Then few words they said like that.
Okay, that's totally fine. You can scribe for them. What are they again? You scribe in their exit ticket. There's not a problem. And they can see you writing. So what they are saying, they can see you writing. Oro has written, it becomes clearer to us where they understood clearly. Yes. Can it be a recap of a lesson? What do you think? Can exit ticket be a recap of a lesson? Did we see an exit ticket which was a recap of a lesson? A brain dump. The brain dump was a recap. 2 things that highlighted was a recap. I like this as well. It's very cute. This they can do at home.
Phones are not allowed.
That's why this they can do at home.
Assignment.
This they can do as a home assignment, or they can draw themselves. Caricature. Why not?
Yeah. I'm telling them to draw.
Tell them to draw.
Draw your family
This.
picture, draw your this, that, like that.
Imagine this one. This is a good language practice as well. Snap 4 selfies to make a comic strip. Use speech bubbles to show what the character did or said.
Yeah.
Immediate
Nice
fun. This is your summary. Summarize what you learned today in just 4 steps. Oro, you can use this. Then next one. How well did you understand what we did today? Put a circle on the scale below.
Just saw him.
Anna? Just saw it.
That one I need, ma'am, to give my students.
Yes.
Then only they will concentrate that I need to learn and write what I learned.
Totally do that. Totally do that. What could you have done today to help yourself learn better? Now we come to the end of it. Now, what are you most confused about? We will close the session. We have only 5 minutes left. Perfect for the session to time out. Perfect time for an exit ticket. Just open your mic and say, which one do you want to choose? Any exit ticket you want to choose, or you want to choose on this? What are you still most confused about? Or you want to say, what could you have done today to help yourself learn better? Or this one?
This one.
How well did you understand what we did today? Put a circle on the scale below. And then describe why you feel that way. Okay, let's do this one. Anybody go? Anybody go and tag the other person. Lisa has been very quiet. I'm tagging Lisa.
Sorry, ma. Yes, ma'am. Sorry.
I'm tagging you. And then you can tag somebody else.
Achha. Ma'am, I understand now what
You
to do.
understand now?
Yeah,
I understood the last one. I
You
Yes, ma'am.
understand
Last one.
everything and can even think of ways to use it. Are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, how many of us are there? But I don't know how I can use it. Is anybody there? I understand everything, but I don't know how I can use it.
We were there, now we are.
Oh, perfect. Perfect. So nobody is there that I'm completely lost or I understand very little. Is anybody there? Then I can do one-on-one with that person later. No one. All right. I understand some, but I'm confused about some. I understand everything, but I don't know how I can use it. So now we know how we can use this exit ticket. Can I ask someone to summarize what we have learned in 4 steps? So can I ask one person to say 1 point? So we have 4 people saying 4 points. Anybody go? 1 point. Just contribute 1 point what you have learned today.
It can act as a formative assessment both for the teacher as well as the student.
It can act as a formative assessment for both teacher and the student. Second one, anybody wants to say?
It helps a child to articulate what stands out for him or her.
Aha, it helps the child to articulate what stood out for the child. Yes. Number 3. Kavita ko itni हंसी आ रही.
I understood, but I cannot explain.
Oh,
Ma'am, Arpita, how it,
Oro has written how to use exit tickets as a chapter and concept. Absolutely. 4th one. Come on, Savita, give it a try.
Ma'am, I just understand. I will use that for how much child understand so that I can do more work for that.
You mentioned earlier that you will use them to engage them more so that they will tell what they should do to learn better, right?
Yeah.
That's what
Ma'am,
you
this
mentioned.
can also act like, if they paste it on a wall or somewhere, So every time they come back, they can see it, and they can, evaluate where they have moved from that place to the next level.
Correct.
So it acts like, their self-assessment as well.
Absolutely. Especially if you put this slider and you put, children can put post-its on the bottom. And they can shift their post-it on where they are today. Or they can write a new...
Basically, this can work as a working model itself.
As a slider, this is your interactive display.
Actually, sometimes they
make the same
they're
number
not able
as
to
students.
understand. They're not able to understand, and they are not able to say also they are not able to understand.
Right.
So from the like this will do means we'll come to know how much they know.
Correct.
Children are
Answer
little
also, if
introverts
in question
sometimes.
answer pattern will do, they are answering. They will write, they'll mark or whatever they will answer.
Correct.
But after that, they can't tell after 5 days. So this way we can know how much they gain the knowledge.
Absolutely. So now we have all the ones. Now slide 1. I'm running through the slides so that it's recorded for you. You can print it out. You have the PDFs. You can draw it out. You can put it on a chart paper. I'm just running it for you so that when you show it to a new teacher, you have them all in one place. And you can use it in the way you wish.
Ma'am, we can do it in that copy of which notebook they are writing, and the chapter they will paste it.
Yeah, they can do. You can give out color sheets, and they know that, okay, every time one color sheet comes out, this is the exit ticket time, You can make it a ritual. Anything. I usually use A4 sheets, colored sheets. I use them because they know that, when the moment this sheet has come out, that means last 5 minutes and we have exit ticket time. So they actually look for, now they have started asking for it. Can we do the t-shirt one? They completely love it because they can write one like slogan,
They're used to it,
something, and so they can do all of that. So that is something they really enjoy.